As you can see, the Honda is still up in the air because I can't get the nut off the right rear shock for the strut assembly. So, several days later now, I've invested in one of these, an induction heater, which we're going to open up right now. I have not even looked at it yet. I ordered it online. This is what I call a nut warmer, because what it does, let's say there's a nut on the end of this, you hook this into the machine, you put this around it, and it warms that nut up till it's red hot, and then in theory it expands that nut so that you can turn it, because the whole reason you're using that is because it's bound up and won't turn. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to give it a try. Thanks for watching. Follow me on Auto Auction Rehabs on YouTube. All right, well, I got my nut warmer hooked up to the nut. There's lots of little intricacies to doing this. You want to try to not touch any other metal, and not around anything around the nut you're trying to loosen. Then it says the working time is 2 minutes. And you don't want to get your nuts red hot. You just want to try it for 2 seconds at a time to see if it loosens it up. 1001, 1002, 1003. Okay, well, let's try that. Nope. So let's try it again. I mean, heck yeah, it got warm. One, two, three, 4, 5. Let's try that. Nope. Let's try a little more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Well, it definitely did something, because now let me turn this off. Because now the nut that was actually welded on is now turning. From what I can tell. And there is no way to grab a hold of that. What might be my solution is having to cut this bolt on the inside here and just go get a new bolt. It's not going to come off like that. I can try the old penetrating oil, and you know, there's no point in trying to hold it with pliers. There's no way that's going to work. So let's see what happens. I mean, we busted it loose in that respect. I mean, now the whole thing's turning. So, what's to say if we try it with some penetrating oil, it won't do what it's supposed to do. It's still hot. What I was doing earlier is trying to move it one way and then the other to loosen it up. Yep. It's turning on there. This whole thing is turning. This outer portion is not supposed to turn, just the bolt on the inside. But the whole thing's going, so take the death wheel, pry this over a little bit. Let's see if I've got room for a 1mm death wheel in there. No, not really, but might be able to come up this way and cut into this, cut it halfway and then turn it, cut it the other half. Then it's just a matter of going to get a new bolt, which then will be tomorrow's project. So stick around, we'll be back. The saga continues. I guess the other thing I could try doing is welding this thing on, but you know what? Then that means it's not coming off. So no, that's not a good idea. So I will try and make a cut right through here into this bolt and then turn it 180 degrees and cut again. This way I'm staying away from this, because I don't want that to explode on my face. I don't know that there's any gas left in this shock. It is so rusty. I doubt there's anything left. But it's got to come out. I'm not going to do it halfway. We're going to figure it out. Okay, so we know that these were replaced October of 16. Or at least these were made October of 16. So 8 to 10 years into its life, it got new struts. And so now we're, what, another, what is it, 23 now? 16 to 23 is 7. Yeah. They've lasted a good long time. All right, everybody. We'll be back at it in the morning. It's been a long day for me already. I'm not going to start cutting into this today because I think I want to be fresh to do this. And if I get a death wheel in this way, it looks like I can probably cut through that. And then I'll just go get a grade 8 bolt, put it all back together. All right, I'll catch up to you in the morning. Well, after much deliberation about how to take this strut out, as you can see the strut is out, I ended up using the death wheel and 3 or 4 blades or discs, because you can hardly get in there. I was able to get the bolt to turn, so I'd cut a bit, turn a bit, cut a bit, turn a bit, cut a bit, turn a bit, and then finally it was just about ready to break off. I pried it off, got the bolt out, and the thing just dropped right out. But here's the deal. I'm going to try and get my hat here. Here's the deal with this. Those struts are gas charged. Heat is a wonderful thing when you're trying to loosen your nuts. However, it's not a wonderful thing when you're messing around with gas charged shocks. And when that outer casing started smoking, I jumped back. I said, no, no, we're not going to blow up in David's face today. So I said, we got to have a better way. But as it is, the nut warmer does work as intended. It's just not intended for use around gas charged shocks. So yeah, don't do that. And I will go to the store tomorrow. We have a Lowe's that's close. Pick up a bolt, washers, a nut, and put this thing back together, and then start on the front end. And I'll bring you along for that ride. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe. There's more to come on this video. It's another day now, and I used the nut warmer to try and get my nut off. This is called the hot rod. If anybody wants to get one from the Jungle website, they're not cheap. They do work. This one worked very well. It got that nut hot. However, I was a little scared because there was a lot of smoke around the shock part of the strut, and I believe those are gas charged shocks, and I did not want to become a statistic, so I worked back and forth with the air impact. No, I didn't use air impact. My air impact is weak. My Milwaukee impact is much better, and I used that and worked things back and forth, and the nut that is supposed to be welded to the mount on the vehicle was no longer welded on, and I don't believe it's even the correct nut. So when they replaced everything about 7 or 8 years ago, yeah, they did a hack job. So here's what I'm going to do now. I can't just sit and wait 3 more days. I need to get this thing done, get it out so that I can bring the truck down. I have all of the front clip pieces off, except for a little bit of wiring on the core support. I'll get that all off, get that cleaned up, get the engine and transmission mounted in there, and start putting it back together, and hopefully get it running in the next 2 to 3 weeks. In the meantime, I have to work on this. I want to get this strut put in, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in. I'll tighten up the top 2 bolts, and then I will come back down here and put the bolt in just to hold it there so that I can put the wheel on and jack it up in the front end to do the front struts and brakes. So let's do that. I'll just put this thing back together real quick and bring you back and show you that, and then we'll have the front end up in the air. I did go get some wax and polishing compound because I thought, well, what the heck, if there's nothing else to do or nothing else I can do, I could at least clean this thing up and get it ready to sell. But it's raining today. I don't want to, I can't pull it out to wash it, so I could just use a wet towel and wipe it down and then polish it and wax it. But I'd rather get the brakes done first because the paint, you know, is really not that bad. I don't think that'll make or break a sale that it needs a wax job. Anyway, so let me get this done and we will come back. We have moved up to the front of the car now. And what I did in the back, I got it off the jack stands and off the dollies. It seems to be sitting a little bit higher, which is a good thing. I put the other strut in, and I used a bolt that is absolutely the incorrect size, which is perfect for now, because the bolt and the nut I had to order. Honda didn't even have it in stock, the 2 places I called. So I just put a slightly smaller bolt in there. No nut on the end. It's just to hold it because it's not going anywhere until I get the proper fasteners. But if I didn't put that in there, I couldn't take it off the jacks, and I didn't want to leave it on the jack stands to come up front and put it on jack stands, just because I'm working by myself and I want as much safety as possible. So what I've done at this point, of course, taken the wheel off, and you can see these brakes. They are bad. I mean, even 40 miles of driving and kind of riding the brakes a little bit, it didn't clean them up. So I used the impact tool, and I know I mentioned that I had an impact driver. This little guy here from Milwaukee, that does not do the trick if things are rusted like this. So what I use is this tool, and that is an impact driver, and it's got different tips you can put on it. You can also take this off and put a 3/8 drive socket on there. I don't remember where I got this. It's a no-name brand. I think I've had this longer than Harbor Freight's been around. It's possible that I got it at Harbor Freight. Anyway, so what I've done off camera is I loosen the bolt for the tie rod end and then use the pickle fork to separate the tie rod end from the strut, which, as you can see, is leaking like crazy. So I'm guessing there's probably not much pressure in there. I had to use the nut warmer to get this top one off. I didn't get it red hot. I just got it warmed, worked it back and forth. I used the impact on the nut and breaker bar on the bolt, and it actually came off pretty easy. So now what I need to do is remove this brake line clamp or clip here that just holds the brake line, and this line here, which I think that might be ABS. Just need to remove these little brackets and then take all the fasteners out, and the thing should just fall apart. I've got 3 nuts on the top that I need to remove, and they're not all rusted out like the rest of these, so that should be pretty easy, and I will bring you guys back when we're starting on the brakes. It's raining right now here in Texas, which is a good thing. We need a little bit of rain. We need to fill the water tank. So clean the wheel. And yes, I know it's a mess. There we go. New brakes on. New rotors. Brand new strut. And now I'm going to do the other side. I'm going to put the wheel on here for safety and go around to the other side and do that one. Won't bore you with the details. It's not that bad, really. The worst part is dealing with all of the rusted nuts and bolts. That's the hardest part. And Honda brakes. God, I hate Honda brakes. Anyway, I'll come back when I'm done with it, and then we'll polish it up. Here we are, everybody. The project is done, except for the silly bolt in the right rear that I had to order, and had to special order a nut to go on it because it's of a different thread pitch than what's most common. It's probably very common for Honda. So my next project now is cleaning up all the tools, putting everything back together. Yeah, you can't see very well in there, but it's all new stuff. All new stuff. So whoever's going to get this car is probably not going to have anything to deal with. It's all done. And it's a nice riding little car. And to be quite honest, I'd rather keep it. But rule number 1 when you're doing this, don't fall in love with the cars that you buy to flip, because then you won't. And that's no good. Thanks for watching, everybody. I really do appreciate it. Thanks again. Take care, and we'll see you very soon in the next one.